Hello everybody, in this video I'll show you how I create this. This is a security camera that I built completely from scratch with parts from AliExpress and with help of ChatGPT to write me the code and help me connect all the stuff. So yeah, like this. So I would like to point out that this video is more like a proof of the concept rather than a tutorial. I am still a beginner into the electronics and I know there is a lot of room for improvements on that camera. It took me a lot of trial and error to make this thing even work, and even now it sometimes glitches. So yeah, it's not perfect, but I think this camera, it has a lot of potential and it has some of very great features. First of all, like I said, I bought the components from AliExpress, so the camera is relatively cheap. Secondly, it's quite independent, and by that I mean the camera, it has its own battery and it also doesn't need any external Wi-Fi network, so you don't need to connect this camera to your home Wi-Fi network. Instead, this camera creates its own Wi-Fi network on which you then connect with your devices such as phone or computer. There is also one very great feature, and that is that this network that this camera can create, it's completely hidden. So it's hidden through to other devices, to other users, and you decide how you will name it. You name this Wi-Fi network yourself. You can give it its own code, the password I mean, and you decide who will have the access, who will you give the access to all of this information, so the name and the password, so they can also connect to this camera. So yeah, it's like I said, independent hidden network. And also there is one more feature that is I'm really proud of, and that's this camera can be turned on and off remotely. And right now, when this blue light, this LED is turned on, that means the camera itself that is right here isn't powered. So now there is no network, there is no footage broadcast. For that, you will need this sort of station. So this is ESP32 room, I think it's called, something like that. And when I press this button here, this LED should, yes, turn off. And right now the camera, maybe you hear like ringing a little bit. It's creating its own network. It broadcasts this footage through this network. And when I decide that I don't want camera to be turned on anymore, I just press this button and it should turn off. Yes, so when this LED, this blue LED is powered, so it's emitting light, that means that the camera doesn't work. And when there is no blue LED light here, then yeah, the camera is working. Okay, so here is a demonstration how camera works. So first I will press this button, so the camera is now turned on. Now I'll have to connect my phone to the network that camera is producing right now. Then I type in the browser the IP address of the camera, and oh sorry, here is a stream of the camera right now. So as you can see, it's working pretty well, I would say. Yes, and when I want the camera to stop recording, to turn off, I press this button, wait a few seconds, and the stream should, yes, disappear. So there is no more stream on my phone, camera is turned off, and I can do this on and off switching as many times as I want. So yeah, this is how it works. Now I would also like to go through all the components on this camera. So let's start with this main module. So this is ESP32 camera module, and it has this, I would say, like normal standard camera on it. I tried to use some cameras with, you see, with like bigger lenses, but it didn't work out. And also I recommend, or it's almost must, that you find the ESP camera that you can connect this external antenna, because you see ESP32 cameras modules, you can connect the antenna right here, but the problem is before that you will need to somehow unsolder. I don't know if you can see it here, right here. It's a very small resistor right here, and you will have to unsolder it and position in the other direction in order to use external antenna. I can't do that. I don't have equipment or tools, so I found on AliExpress such ESP32 camera module that it already have this resistor solder on the right direction. So really, if you can do it yourself, then amazing, but try to find the one that it already have the resistor on the right place. Then this is also one of the ESP modules, and it's ESP8266. This module is responsible for turning on and off camera remotely. Then of course we have this battery here, so it's 3.7 volts battery. Then also on this side of the camera there is this. So this is this is a boost converter. So it this module will decrease voltage from 5 to 3.3 volts. I will explain later why this is important, but yeah, so input is 5 volts and output is 3.3 volts. So this is a back side of the camera. So here we have a switch, charging module, so we can charge the battery. Then we have a MOSFET, so it's like a transistor for those who know. Then here we have a resistor, a 270 ohm resistor. You could use other values because I use this resistor in order to limit a current or to decrease a current that is powering this ESP module. So as long as your current doesn't go too high or too low, you could use other values of the resistor. And the last component here is this big right here, this big voltage converter, and its job is to change the input. So the input is on average 3.7 volts from the battery, but when the battery is fully charged, it's around 4 volts, and when it's completely discharged, I think it's around 2 point something volts. And during these two stages also the voltage it's like falling, so it's decreasing, and we want a stable voltage that is also bigger than that. So we need at least 5 volts, so 5 stable volts, and this module can do that. So here's a potentiometer, and by adjusting this screw right here, you can set the output to your preferences or to your needs. This module right here, it's set to make 5.33 volts of output. So I will talk later why this number, but yeah, for me the 5 volts didn't work, so I'll need to increase it just a little bit, and around 5.3 or 30, like I said, 5 or 30 volts, it started working. So yeah, also the connections between the components on the board, it's either made by soldering directly onto the perf board, or by using some of leftover wire that I could find at home. So yeah, and also there is some super glue that I used to glue the parts on the perf board. So like these two modules are hot glue on the perf board, also this antenna. So yeah, this is all the components of the camera. Of course, like I said, you can use this perf board to permanently build such a camera, but you could also use a breadboard to test all your components beforehand. And yeah, so if you want, you can use that. But you could also use just a breadboard. So yeah. So here I draw very simple schematics of the whole circuit of the whole camera. So here are the components we mentioned earlier. So we have a battery, charging module, switch, this big voltage converter that is on the back side, a resistor, a smaller 3.3 volt voltage converter, ESP 8266 module, ESP32 camera module, and a MOSFET. So the battery is connected directly to this charging module, and the charging module is connected directly to this big boost converter. In between of them, it's a switch, so we could turn the whole circuits on and off. Then we set this voltage converter to output around 5.33 volts. It could work also with, I don't know, 5.36. It depends on the circuit, so on the connection, on everything. So for me, it worked at this value. It's working on this value. Then on this positive side, on this, let's say positive side of the voltage converter, we connect directly to the ESP32 camera. So this camera has a lot of pins. I didn't mention that before. Both these two modules, these ESP modules, they both have a lot of pins. For example, you can see camera, it has a lot of them. But for the sake of this video and simplifying all of the schematic, we will include on this sketch only those that we really use, that we really need. So we are interested only on 2 pins on the camera, and that's our the pin for 5 volts and ground. And here is like this GPO 2 pin, or how it's called, I don't know, and this 3.3 volts pin and ground. So like I said, the positive side of this converter is connected to the 5 volts pin on the ESP30 camera, and the other connection to this positive side of the converter is connected to this small voltage converter that is on the front side that I've shown when I show all the components of the video. So this voltage converter it has 3 pins. One is, like we say, input, one will be output, and one will be ground. So you connect input, so this 5 volts input here to this module. The module will output 3.3 volts, but before we connect this output directly to this module, we will decrease a current a little bit by using this resistor and connect it like this. So the resistor is then connected to the ground, this common ground of all of the electronics, all of these modules. And then after that, it's connected directly to this module, to this 3.3 volts right here. The ground of this module is also connected to the whole ground right here. So these two. Then this pin, I know the ChatGPT and other, the ChatGPT said it's like GPO or something like that. The pin with number 2 of this module is connected to the MOSFET, to the gate, I think it's called. The gate is this left pin of the MOSFET. So you connect this pin number 2 to the MOSFET gate pin. Then the drain, or how it's called, is the middle pin, is connected to the ground pin of the ESP32 camera. And the source, I think this pin is called, on the right side, it's connected to the ground of, like, this common ground right here, as you can see. And this is all of the connection that's going on in this circuit. And what it basically do, so you have to flip the switch on in order to power all of the electronics. This is self-explanatory. Because MOSFET won't be turned on unless the gate will receive some current or voltage. So because this MOSFET is not turned on, there is no current coming into this ESP32 camera, so the camera is turned off. The only current that is now and the voltage that is consumed of the battery is this ESP8266 module. This module will detect when you press that button earlier on this ESP32 room that I showed in the beginning of the video. When we'll detect that the button was pressed, when we'll receive the signal, then we'll output a signal through this second pin, or how it's called, to the MOSFET that will open the MOSFET, or how to call that. So the MOSFET will be open, allowing the current to go through these two pins and power the camera module. When you will press the button on this ESP room, again, this module will detect that, will stop outputting a signal through this pin to this MOSFET, and the MOSFET will be turned off alongside this whole system. So ESP32 camera will be turned off as well. And this is the whole system. This is how it works. The whole system will be much less complicated and much easier to build if I wouldn't have a wish to make it so you can turn it on and off remotely. It will be much easier, but I think that this feature is worth the effort of doing all of this. So yeah, this is the whole system, yeah, basically. So yeah, I hope you found this idea interesting. If you have any idea how to improve this camera, please let me know in the comments. Also, if this video will get at least some attention, I will also try to make another one in which I will explain this the code for this ESP32 camera and for this ESP module, and I also somehow try to give you the access so that you just copy and paste it and upload it to your projects, to your camera. Also, please excuse my English. I know that I made some or a lot of grammar mistakes while speaking, so I will try to work on it to speak more fluently and correct my grammar mistakes. So yeah, so this is it. So stay creative, and I'll see you in the next video, and really thank you guys for watching. So bye.